midfield. Leeds Rhinos have defended their crown.
And what a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Austin is through and Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. And Vincent is a poor lad. That is one sensational try.
Look out with a drop goal. Leeds gather round in jubilation.
He's hit the post. It's Wellsby. Wellsby might have got the try. St Helens are champions once again.
Hello and welcome to the last tackle as we build up to the Betfred Challenge Cup. It's Castleford versus St Helens.
Time works in mysterious ways. When you look back to the last time you were here, in this arena, it feels like a lifetime ago. For the Saints, 13 years ago, they carved their names into history. For the Tigers, it's been 35 years since they last triumphed here. I know as well as anyone how time can take its toll. But after so many years, the victory tastes even sweeter. For 2 long years as fans, we've had to watch history being made from afar. The time between then and now has been excruciating. But times are changing. The time has come to welcome the fans back to the biggest coming together of our sport in such a long time. We will fill the stands, 45,000 strong, reunited for the main event. To once again bear witness to Rugby League back to where it belongs, under the arch of Wembley, where heroes become legends. And for those 80 minutes, where time stands still. Betfred Challenge Cup final, where history is made.
Yeah, the Betfred Challenge Cup final at Wembley on Saturday in front of 45,000 fans. This is what they're playing for, the Challenge Cup trophy, and Eddie Hemmings is alongside me. 45,000 fans as well.
It'll be fantastic, won't it? I mean, we've waited a long time for a crowd as big as that at a Rugby League Challenge Cup final, a Rugby League Grand Final, a Rugby League game full stop. And to have 45,000 in there will be magical. You know, I can feel a lump in my throat already just thinking about it, and, you know, abide with me and everything else. It'll be memorable. It's a ground a little bit like Old Trafford in the Grand Final these days where legends are made. And it's a massive opportunity for St Helens and Castleford, this. A massive opportunity.
Because we had a great final last year, didn't we? Leeds just pipping Salford 17-16. It was one of my lockdown highlights of a sporting year, but it just wasn't the same, was it? Especially when you see the Leeds players lifting the trophy.
No, exactly. And the 2 finals last year were decided by the narrowest of margins.
We had 2 crackers but no fans.
No soul there to watch it apart from the television crews, the commentators and us sitting at home on the sofa. It was a great final. I mean, poor old Salford, you know. So near yet so far, but Leeds just had the little extra. Salford went in as underdogs, obviously, didn't they? But Leeds showed their class and the fact that they know how to get over the line in big games. But they only just won it. It was only a squeak. I just hope with 45,000 in there on Saturday and the television cameras beaming it out across the world. Steve-O will be watching in Australia, for instance. He's setting his alarm clock. He's going to get up and watch it, which is amazing. But anyway, he is. And I just hope it's another great game, another great occasion.
Before we build up to the Betfred Challenge Cup final, some positive news we're hearing. We're expecting an announcement tomorrow about the Rugby World Cup, but it all sounds at this stage very, very positive.
They've delayed the announcement, haven't they, until now, that they believe it is going to go ahead. They're going all guns blazing and hoping that the tournament will take place at the back end of the year. Now, as you know, on our podcast, I speak regularly to Steve-O. He was so enthusiastic about it earlier on in the year. You know, I've got to get back. I've got to get back for this World Cup. I've got to be there because he's a World Cup winner from 1972. Desperate to get back. Latterly, he's become more and more lukewarm, and he doesn't think the NRL clubs will release the players, and the players themselves don't really want to come with all the COVID and the coronavirus problems that we still have in this country, because they don't want to quarantine for 14 days when they get home. Now, he believes that is very, very selfish of all concerned over there, because, come on, this is a World Cup, get over there, play in it, win it if you possibly can, and what a thing you've got to tell your kids and your grandkids moving forward. But he is now coming round to perhaps, maybe, and he's looking to get a ticket on a plane, he's looking to get over here. I've tried to help him all I can with the Rugby Football League, that Shaun Wane needs him to prepare the team for what's to come. He's keeping his fingers crossed. This is the best news we've had about the World Cup for a long, long time. It was clouded and shrouded in uncertainty until this moment, and now let's just take a breath and hope and keep fingers crossed.
Positive announcement on the World Cup expected, possibly even tomorrow. So watch this space. But we're now going to turn our attention to this trophy. It's the Betfred Challenge Cup. Let's find out how St Helens and Castleford got there.
Hands on hips, the master of this situation. Left against a Farge. Farge with a short pass. Matotia. Well read by the whole defence. But there's more to come here. Roby left again. Quick hands. And to Grace. He's dived in.
The sense of turning the strewn
Oh, Griffin's found a bit of space here. Oh, he's gone. And he's lost the ball. And Farge picks it up. And that is just one of those cruel sporting moments. Irish, thanks Kev. Here's Lomax left and Wellesby and stretching, and he's claimed a try. Danny Houghton again spins it back. Quick from Reynolds and from Connor. Here's Twimble he sets it up on a play. This is McCarthy Scarsborough. Last play. Roby spins it back. Farge is going for the drop goal here, and Farge has got the drop goal. Big set to McCarthy. Off it's Danny Houghton scores. Houghton, Reynolds, quickly on by Connor. Now it's with Scott. Can Scott scores? Spins it back. Sneed to Reynolds. Connor interception by Regan Grace. And off it goes. Off goes Regan Grace to win the semi-final in the most dramatic of circumstances. Regan Grace, the Welsh flyer, is a Saints hero.
Fast onto him. Go to stay! Oh! Good ball. Wait, go three. Go three. Go top. Austin. Broken too slow.
Yes, we are. Double delight on first try scorers for the Betfred Challenge Cup final at Wembley on Saturday afternoon. Right, let's talk Castleford first of all, Eddie. Not won it for a long time. 1986 when they beat Hull KR.
That's right, 1986. And if I remember rightly, when I was last in the studio with you, I said they weren't going to go to Wembley this year and Warrington would go. Look what they did in that semi-final to the Warrington Wolves. And the semi-final, and looking ahead to Saturday, has some echoes for me, because if you remember, they played Leeds the week before the semi-final, Castleford, and got done
battered.
66-6. This last weekend, they put a team of reserves out. Daryl Powell said he wasn't risking any of his players.
Battered by Salford.
Battered by Salford, 70 points to whatever it was.
18, wasn't it?
Yeah, 70 points to 18, that's right. And I remember saying last time I was here, you don't go to semi-finals, and you certainly don't go to Wembley on the back of a 70-point hiding. But can you say that Daryl Powell hasn't got it right? Not really. I mean, they played on Sunday. He said that game, really, with the big final coming up this weekend, should never have been played on the Sunday. Had one of his stars been just knocked, concussed, he wouldn't have been allowed to play this weekend in the final. So he rested them all, 14 changes. He gave debutants to 5 18-year-olds. No surprise to anybody that they got turned over. Now they come into Wembley with all his troops fully fit and ready to go. They will be underdogs. I'm sure you've got them way down the field. It's a 2-horse race. Do Castleford, with that win against Warrington, after the defeat by Leeds, do Castleford have their name written on the cup in 2021? Interesting.
We all know what Daryl Powell's doing at the end of the season, going to Warrington. What kind of job has he done at Castleford?
Outstanding. Outstanding. They were nearly finished when Daryl turned up at Castleford. They were facing bankruptcy in the face. They were going nowhere as a club. Daryl came in, and obviously with a lot of help from people behind him in the boardroom and in his coaching staff, he has revitalised that club. I mean, we all went crazy last week about the England football supporters singing Sweet Caroline. Hey, come on, 2017, Castleford started a ball rolling with Sweet Caroline. It was a fantastic place to go, the jungle. We were all singing Sweet Caroline for the Castleford Tigers.
So entertaining as well that season.
Brilliant play. You know, they got to Old Trafford on the back of the Luke Gale drop goal. We all know what happened afterwards in the week leading up to the grand final, and Zach Hardaker and everything else. But they were sensational. Daryl's won a Coach of the Year title. The one thing that they've not got is a bit of silverware in the boardroom in the Daryl Powell era. That will be motivation enough for him. That's why he's kept all his top stars in cotton wool, and they will come out and they will fire and they will have a go at St Helens. Saints far and away the favourites, but Castleford will have a go. And Daryl, you know, his legacy would be complete if that ended up back at Weldon Road on Saturday night.
Well, let's hear from the Castleford coach, Daryl Powell.
Your third major final as Cas boss, of course. How much you kind of dipping into the experience of the previous two to inform your preparation for this one?
Yeah, certainly. I think you know, we've learned a lot. I think over the previous finals. I think there's, you know, it's not just that. It's you dipping into the legacy side of things. You're dipping into the players that are going to be leaving, coaches that are going to be leaving after this season. So there's a massive amount of motivation. I don't think we're going to be short for motivation. That is for certain. I think, you know, we've just got to play our very best game, and you know, all the things that we've used as motivation throughout the Challenge Cup into the semi-finals and now into the final. Yeah, they're all there for us, I think, and you know, we'll do some good things this week, I think, leading in to make sure we top up on that. But yeah, I think you learn from every big game that you're playing, and the finals that we've played in have given us an opportunity to be really ready for this one.
Daryl Powell talking to Lewis there, not short of motivation.
Definitely not. I mean, remember in the past when so many Wigan players and Wigan coaches were leaving Wigan after the grand final, and look what Wigan did in the grand final. They went on and won it. And as I say, Daryl's story at Castleford isn't yet complete because they haven't had to get the Brasso out yet to polish anything while he's been there. Well, this is the opportunity. You know, he can bring that home. He's 80 minutes away from doing that, and it would be absolutely deserved if he does it and gets them there, because they've been so near just lately. I don't think they're as entertaining as they were in 2017. But having said that, they didn't win it in 2017. Then maybe they've got a bit more steel about them. The semi-final performance that we saw against Warrington was remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And the other motivational factor they've got is Jordan Turner. Jordan Turner began at Salford 2007. 14 years he's waited. 14 years he's waited to get to Wembley and a Challenge Cup final. He scored a hat-trick in the semi-final. Hat-tricks don't come along all that often in a Wembley Challenge Cup final, but Jordan Turner will be itching to get his hands on that trophy. So there is motivation all round. Players leaving, players arriving at Wembley for the first time in 14 years in their career. Daryl going, his coaching staff going. You know, they could easily do it. They could easily turn over the hot favourites.
Well, let's hear from their captain. It is Michael Shenton.
It's a very special occasion, obviously. Such a great tradition in our sport. It's a Challenge Cup, so to be able to represent Castleford in the final is a massive honour for me, and I think it's a big week for our town and our club and all the boys that are going to take part.
It's been a long time, 35 years since Cass lifted it. Opportunity to make some history and really write your names down among Cass legends, isn't it?
100%, yeah. This next kind of phase and this next week is about us making our own history. I mean, the club's got plenty of history in the cup and had success there, but like you say, 35 years is a long time, and this team that we're in now has been in the mix for a few trophies over the last 7-8 years. So I think we're due a good performance in the final, and it'd be lovely to bring it home. But obviously, a lot of work to go to build up to it. And obviously, we're facing one of the top teams in our competition, the standard bearers. So it's going to be a massive challenge. But I suppose that's why they call it the Challenge Cup. So we're ready, and we're ready to have a big day.
We heard 55 years a lot, didn't we, over the last few days? But it's 35 years since Castleford have won the Challenge Cup. Now, the jungle, love going to the jungle, always great atmosphere. Now, what would it mean to that area of Castleford?
Well, I hope
everything.
It would mean everything, and I hope it would mean that they would actually have the wherewithal then to go and build a new stadium, which we've heard about ad infinitum. But I mean, that's a side issue. Michael Shenton, he's another one with massive incentive. A former St Helens player, of course. He was there for a couple of years.
He's the only other club, yeah.
Yeah, he's only, but he's Castleford through and through. You know, I'm sure you cut him in half and it'd have tigers, you know, and he'd be amber and black right the way through the middle of him. So we've talked about the motivation at Castleford. There is yet another motivation for a man who has been, well, his time at St Helens has almost been forgotten, you know, but he was there for a couple of years. He's gone back to Castleford. He is their captain. What would it mean to him personally as well to lift that thing on Saturday afternoon? It would be everything for him, I'm sure. And he's a Castleford lad, through and through.
And another key player, I know it's been a stop-start season for everyone in the Super League because of COVID, but Paul McShane has impressed. The man of steel last year, he's come back as good as ever, hasn't he? And he's just signed a new deal to stay at Castleford for a couple more years. Yeah, he's the form hooker in the competition. There is no shadow of doubt about that. Yeah, I mean, he is playing as well as ever. I know he's in the mix for the Man of Steel to retain it. I mean, Jordan Abdul, I think I'm right in saying at the moment, is leading from Hull KR. But back end of the season, that's when the votes will start to count, and it's a pretty tight race anyway. Paul McShane could easily retain. He could do a Paul Sculthorpe and retain the Man of Steel trophy in 2021. He's outstanding, and he can play anywhere. I remember when I used to ring Daryl up and he used to give me his team the 24 hours before the match. You know, I used to say, "What? McShane's at 6?" He said, "He can play anywhere. He can play anywhere." Millington, he can play anywhere. These players have got it in them. They can play anywhere. They're intelligent footballers. They know what it's all about. They're seasoned professionals. I'm talking them up, aren't I? I'm talking them up into a shock here. I really am. Well, what do you think Daryl Powell will say to him ahead of this game? I think exactly what he's probably said each and every week ever since he's been there. You know, just go out and play your game. You've obviously got to look out for the good players on the St Helens
side, Regan Grace and Tommy Makinson, flyers on the wing, you know, James Roby. I mean, we talk about McShane, Roby.
Well, he's won it 3 times before.
He has.
The only player in the Saints squad to have won it before.
That's right, but he's not won it since 2008. And so
it's a long time for St Helens.
It's a massively long time. Yeah, I mean they've been there before in the interim, and
they've
gone
close. 2 years ago, weren't
yes,
they
were,
against
and Warrington turned them over. So it's a place where favourites do fall at Wembley. But yeah, Daryl will say, you know, he will know. He will have a game plan. He will know. We all know what Saints can do. You give Saints the room and you give Saints the time, you know, they will cut you to ribbons. But he will say, look, let's stop them playing first of all and then play our own game, a la that semi-final. They were outstanding against Warrington. Outstanding.
Well, let's turn our attention to the Saints and hear from their coach, Kristian Woolf.
Big bulk of this group has obviously played and won in 2 grand finals now. 2 very different games for you know, quite a few different reasons, but just wonder how much benefit you're going to get from the experience of those occasions going into a big game like this.
I think the biggest benefit is the confidence it gives you. And you know, as I just said before, our players know how to be at their best for big games. They've been through the preparation of it before and actually been at their best for grand finals. And you know, as you said, both grand finals were very different, but they're both like from a player's point of view. You've got to be willing to sacrifice a lot. You've got to be willing to sacrifice a lot of hard work, and that's certainly what both grand finals were won on the back of. So our players are very understanding that is what it requires, and that they have got the ability to do that as well. So, as I said, I think that's the biggest thing that we take is the confidence.
This is probably an obvious thing to say with what we've gone through the last 18 months. Time is confusing, isn't it? It's only his second season, and he won the grand final in dramatic fashion in his first season.
Exactly, they did. And then now he's got them to a Challenge Cup final, and they are right in the mix for the grand final as well. He didn't do what Daryl Powell did. He didn't have to in many ways because they played on Friday. He didn't rest all his squad. He rested Theo Farge and he rested Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. They're the only 2 you would imagine will come straight back into the side on Saturday. So his team, they've beaten Wakefield. It was in the end, though, it was an expensive outing for them because the news came through this morning that Sione Matautia has got 2 one-match bans for offences against Wakefield last Friday, so he will miss Wembley. Even if Saints decide they're going to take him to an appeal, he might get off with 1. I don't think he'll get off with 2. So he will miss Wembley, and that is the risk the coaches take when they're playing near full strength sides. You know, they might get a head knock, as Daryl Powell would have thought. They might get a suspension moving into the Challenge Cup final. I spoke to Ian Proctor on the telephone today, the brains of rugby league. It's a fascinating fact, this. Those 2, Sione Matautia and his brother Peter, should have had a news conference today for the Rugby Football League to promote the game, because they are only the 3rd set of brothers to be opposite each other in a Challenge Cup final in the last 61 years. 1950, this is where Proctor's is absolutely brilliant. Warrington beat Widnes. Albert Norton played for Warrington. Johnny Norton, his brother, played for Widnes, 1950. You remember that, Mark, I'm sure. You were probably there. 2004, Saints against Wigan. Paul Sculthorpe for Saints. Danny Sculthorpe for Wigan on the bench with one Terry O'Connor. There would have been a little bit of history had it been made, but it's not going to happen now. Not going to happen because one of the Matautias will not be there. Shame. Shame for them.
How do you view this Saints side under Kristian Woolf?
Different.
More defensive?
Very much so. They are different. I mean, you think of the Daniel Anderson teams, the Justin Holbrook's teams. I mean, even to be fair to him, Kieran Cunningham as well, got them playing some good stuff. And 1 or 2 of the Saints fans I know say that they're not the team they used to be, but all Australia. I remember when Steve Price came to Warrington, I said, how are you going to play? Well, he said, well, we'll defend. He said, but they will not resist the temptation to play some footy, as they call it in Australia. And Kristian Woolf, I've never actually spoken to him, but just watching the games unfold, yes, they are much more solid defensively than they have been in the past, and they're not scoring the points with such gay abandon as they used to. Now that's the sort of form, the defence, and you can stop people, but you can score a few. So that's the sort of form that can win you trophies. So they'll go there full of confidence, and they will go this time to try and justify their favourites tag.
It's been 35 years for Castleford. It's been 13 years for St Helens. They won it 3 years on a bounce, didn't it? 2006, 2007, 2008. And it's a long time for Saints fans to go without a Challenge Cup, isn't it?
13, unlucky for some, eh? We'll see. Yeah, it is a long time, but what they've lacked in Challenge Cup success, they have gained in Grand Final successes, even though on a few occasions, and Leeds fans will remember, Saints couldn't beat them at Old Trafford, but they have now got into the swing of it again. You know, they're a great side. They're a champion team. They're champions for the reason that they were the best side in 2020. You know, and they've got some good young talent as well. I mean, Morgan Knowles, I think, is outstanding. Jack Wellesby is the jack in the box. You know, he made his name in the grand final with that last-minute try. Could we have another last-minute try? Could we have another one-point drop goal that separates these two sides? It's a possibility. I just hope it's not. I hope it's not a cakewalk one way or the other.
Well, let's go back inside the Saints camp and hear from Tommy Makinson.
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, the last time we was there, it didn't go too well for us, but yeah, we're really excited this time, and you know, we've sort of got a point to prove as well. It's a trophy that both clubs have not won for a long, long time, and yeah, we want to be the ones lifting it at the end.
So, how excited are you and the rest of the team to be playing in a major cup final in front of 45,000 fans?
Yeah, really, really happy to be playing in front of all them people. It's been obviously a long few years with a pandemic, having no one there, and to be playing in front of 45,000 people, it's amazing. So really excited, and hopefully can make some good memories.
You've just signed a new contract at Saints. What are your motivations to stay?
Just to win trophies, really. I think we've got a great team, but obviously it's such a tough competition, the Challenge Cup and obviously the Super League. So yeah, the goal is just to win as much as I can really before I retire, and hopefully I can achieve that.
And what are you expecting from the final? Castleford have produced some big performances in the Cup so far, haven't they?
Yeah, they're a great team. I think anyone who writes Cass off are just silly. You know, we've played in big games before, and so have Cass, and a final's anyone's game, and we know it's going to be a hell of a tough game when it comes to it. But like I said, hopefully we can do it and bring success to this club.
And last one, it's been a long time now since Saints have won the cup. What would it mean to lift it in front of all your fans?
Yeah, that's just the sole purpose of playing rugby. You want to lift them trophies for your fans and supporters and your family, and yeah, to lift that is the last thing for me I need to do in rugby, and that's the greatest achievable goal for me, and hopefully I can do it.
Eddie, we've got some exciting talent on the show on Saturday, haven't we? Yeah. Where do you think the game will be won or lost?
The Australian coaches like Kristian Woolf will tell you defence wins your matches. You know, the forwards will set the platform. He will hope their forwards will set the platform for Lomax and Farge to weave their magic, do their business. You're right, out on the flanks, you've got the flying Tommy Makinson and you've got amazing Grace on the other side, you know. Two outstanding wingers who could win a match in the blink of an eye. I can't see past St Helens, if I'm honest. I really can't. I couldn't see past Warrington in the semi-final last time. And
we were all tipping St Helens 2 years ago. That's yes, the beauty of sport, isn't it?
Everyone's tipping St Helens to win both trophies this year.
Well, Catalans might have a say now.
They might indeed. They might not win the League Leaders Shield, Saints, but they'll be certainly in the mix for the grand final. I think they're definitely in the mix for this, obviously, because they are there. Interestingly enough, I did a leg of the Mossy Massoy walk, and I spoke to Mike Rush. And he is, apart from being an excellent chief executive, he's a rabid St Helens supporter. And I said, well, you tipped to win the lot, Mike. You know, you're going to win everything. No, he said, so you can't say that. It's so difficult to win every game, first of all, that you're playing. And it's not. And he said, from when we went on the walk to the cup final, he said it will play a part in how we play and our team selection and everything else. They've come through relatively unscathed. They've only played twice because 3 matches have been postponed because clubs couldn't raise teams or the coronavirus. They've beaten Wigan, which is a massive win for them, but they lost badly to Warrington against all the odds. You can't see past the Saints because of the speed they've got out wide, the big defenders they've got. But for some of these Castleford players, it's last chance, isn't it? Last chance saloon. It's brilliant we're talking like this. It's not, oh, Wigan are going to win it by a mile, Warrington are going to win it by a mile. This is on a knife edge. Nobody knows.
Well, the Challenge Cup final is all about memories. We heard from him at the start of the show. He's won it 4 times. Here's Adrian Morley.
Just talk me through some of your Challenge Cup final memories, because there was a time about 10 years ago it felt like you lifting that trophy was almost an annual event.
Yeah, well, that was within my time at Warrington, and it coincided with me being captain there. So we won it three years out of 4 years. So 2009, 2010 and 2012, which was absolutely incredible experience. But I'll flick back 10 years before that in 99 with Leeds. We won the Challenge Cup final. It was the last ever final at Wembley before they demolished it and created this fantastic new stadium. But so it was great to enjoy both the old Wembley and the new Wembley. In fact, there's only 2 players who've got that feat, Lewis.
I was going to ask you this. Who's the other one?
Well, Kieran Cunningham is the other one.
Done.
So I did play a final up at Murrayfield when Wembley was being redeveloped, but we didn't win that one, so I don't tend to talk about that one too much. But yeah, some great memories of the Challenge Cup.
We're going to hear a lot, I'm sure, and it's one of those cliches, isn't it, about treating it as just another game, but it isn't, is it? From the first day of the week all the way through to the final, it's very, very different.
Yeah, very different. It's the build-up in the press, it's on national TV, you're staying out of town in London, these nice hotels, so it's very, very hard to stay focused and say it's just a normal game, because it isn't. All your family and friends are there in the crowd, and it's hard not to focus on them as well. So, the great coaches and the great players will say, just treat it as any other game, but it takes an extra special guy to do that. So it is different, but it's very enjoyable as well as nerve-wracking, and just the whole experience from start to finish. Once you win the semi-final, you've got a few weeks build up there, and then it's on the back of your mind, and the actual week leading up to it, and all the experience of going down and hopefully winning, coming home is absolutely incredible. And then memories do stay with you for life, and it's going back to your hometown or city, and there's the celebrations, the lap of honour and the open top bus and all that kind of thing. So it is an amazing experience. So I'm quite envious of the Castleford and the St Helens teams at the moment.
Adrian Morley there. Look, we've been lucky enough to be at some fabulous sporting events over the years. You've been lucky enough to commentate on some great rugby league matches, but I can't imagine what it's like to live that as a captain.
No.
But Mozza has done.
I think you also need a bit of energy as well at the end of 80 minutes or plus golden point to lift it, because it's a heavy old thing. It really is. Wembley is getting a little bit of its glory back. I think when the old Wembley was demolished and it was moved around Twickenham, Murrayfield, Cardiff and all over the place, I think the Challenge Cup lost its aura, and of course the grand final moved in then and took it all, because Old Trafford, Theatre of Dreams, etc. We all know what that means. But Wembley now is getting back, and the fact that we've got 45,000 people there on Saturday, the Wembley weekend, it won't be the same Wembley weekend as it's been previously, but it's coming back gradually. And people like Adrian who talk about winning the thing, it is a place where legends have been made. Oh, the poor lad, Eddie Waring's commentary on poor old Don Fox, Martin Afire down the wing. The 1985 Challenge Cup final, which was my first Challenge Cup final commentary for BBC Radio 2 in those days. Wonderful occasions, fantastic occasions. Sean Edwards, an 18-year-old fullback, Brett Kenny, Peter Sterling. Memories are made of this. Memories are made of Wembley occasions and grand finals. For someone on Saturday, destiny will knock on the door, and who knows what will happen. Who knows what will happen. Alex Murphy with the wink at the referee, allegedly, as he went off on a stretcher. Sid Hines getting sent off, first man ever to be sent off at Wembley. It's folklore. It's rugby league folklore, and it's all going to unfold at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
And there is another final at Wembley on Saturday, the 1895 final. Let's hear from the coaches of Featherstone and York.
Coming into this game, pretty hot form, unbeaten in the championship. Does all of that go out the window when you come into a cup final?
100% it does. Any cup game. I've been in underdogs and won cup games. I've been favourites and got beat. But I don't really see there's too much between the teams. If you look in our league fixture, a couple of months ago, went down to a bounce of the ball towards the end. Two really evenly matched sides who, over the last probably 3 years, have fought out some really, tough games.
You've obviously got a couple of players in your squad that have experienced Wembley as Challenge Cup finalists. How much have you spoken to those players about that? How much have they spoken to the rest of the group in terms of the experience and what it's like playing at Wembley in a final like this?
A couple of brief chats, but plan to explore that a little bit further tonight and Thursday and Friday when we get down to Wembley. But obviously, previous weeks up to now, we've been focusing on the league campaign, and we've tried to put this to the back of our minds.
Good luck to both York and Featherstone. There's 3 Super League matches on Friday night. Of course, it's a really congested fixture list now with all that's going on, and I'm afraid we've lost the Hull derby again. That is off on Thursday night because of COVID-19. That will be rearranged at some point. But let's finish on the Betfred Challenge Cup. We've got the famous trophy here. Well, you said you commentated on your first one on Radio 2 back in 1985. What does the Challenge Cup mean then?
It means a lot to a lot of people. As I say, I think since '98, and with the rebuilding of Wembley, the grand final has taken a little bit of the shine off it, or it did do. But it's a competition where you can have 3 or 4 wins and look what you pick up. You pick up a trophy like that. I remember I went to Hull once for a lunch at the end of the season, and I think it was one of the years that Hull had won the Challenge Cup, and I said, well, it's the easy one. It's the easy one to win. Oh, I nearly got lynched by them. You're talking rubbish. Well, I did that for 30 years. That's fair enough. But I don't take anything away from the fact that it is easier to win that than it is to win the grand final, because you've got to play at your optimum best, and you've got to be in the top 6 and play week after week after week in the playoffs. This is a one-off. This is a one-off where somebody somehow can come out of nowhere and produce the magic that wins that thing. And it as I say, it's being played at Wembley. It's a ground where legends have been made. People talk about their Wembley weekends. People talk about the great performances, the great bits of commentary that they've heard. And it's fantastic. It's a fantastic competition. Oldest knockout cup in the world of rugby league. And what a trophy! What a trophy to have sitting in your drinks cabinet at the end.
I'll see you there.
I'll look forward to it. I'll look forward to it. Yeah, can't wait. Warmed up now, ready.
I know,
already.
So am I. Thanks so much for joining us, Eddie. On behalf of the sponsors, just like to thank the RFL for their hard work. All the teams that have taken part in the Challenge Cup. Let's hope there's more in next year when we're past COVID-19. All the supporters have been watching the games on the telly, but for the 45,000 that go in on that Saturday, enjoy it, and good luck to all 4 teams that are involved in Saturday's showpiece. Be lucky.
Time works in mysterious ways. When you look back to the last time you were here, in this arena, it feels like a lifetime ago. For the Saints, 13 years ago, they carved their names into history. For the Tigers, it's been 35 years since they last triumphed here. I know as well as anyone how time can take its toll. But after so many years, the victory tastes even sweeter. For 2 long years as fans, we've had to watch history being made from afar. The time between then and now has been excruciating, but times are changing. The time has come to welcome the fans back to the biggest coming together of our sport in such a long time. We will fill the stands, 45,000 strong, reunited for the main event. So once again, bear witness to Rugby League, back to where it belongs, under the arch of Wembley, where heroes become legends. And for those 80 minutes, where time stands still. Betfred Challenge Cup final, where history is made.